When you think about giving, do you think about the amount or the ability? Well, there's no question. When you're a child, you think particularly about the amount and what you wanted. If you were looking under the Christmas tree when you were a child and you had a sweater or a pair of underwear or something like that, you weren't terribly excited about it. If there was a train set or a special toy that you wanted, it was pretty exciting. If it was too big to fit under the tree, it was really wonderful. Charities are the same way. Charities now are getting more and more bold about putting down amounts on their contribution letters. Suggested giving of $10, $25, $50, $100. And it's interesting to me how many charities now are starting at $50 or $100 as a suggested gift. So they certainly put an awful lot of emphasis on amount. What about society? What's society impressed with? Are they impressed with the gift that you send in to a charity? Or if you're a football player or a movie star and you have multi-millions, are they impressed with the fact that you give $100,000 to a particular cause? How about even churches? Do churches put a lot of emphasis on somebody's ability to give a large amount? Have we put so much emphasis on giving that now, just to be sure we don't miss a gift, we have you pay via your cell phone, or pay via direct drafts, or pay by other methods, that we don't want to miss a single gift, and therefore we are going to make it really easy for everybody to give. And our church is impressed by how much somebody gives. Is there special favoritism given? Well, we know that the Bible doesn't teach about favoritism, and it doesn't teach about amount, but more about ability. But does it? I found out today as I was researching this particular Bible study that the Bible does talk about amount as well as ability. You say, well, really, Pastor? What about the widow's mite? Well, let's read that story. Mark chapter 12, beginning at verse 38. In his teaching, he was saying, beware the scribes who walk around in long robes, like respectful greetings in the marketplaces, and chief seats in the synagogues and places of honor at banquets, who devour widows' houses for appearance sake, offer long prayers. These will receive greater condemnation. He sat down opposite the treasury and began observing how people were putting money into the treasury. How many rich people were putting in large sums. A poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, which amounted to a cent. Calling his disciples to him, he said to them, truly I say to you, this poor widow put in more than all of the contributors to the treasury, for they all put in out of their surplus. But she, out of her poverty, put in all she owned and all she had to live on. And so we've, for years, put in a great deal of emphasis on the widow's mite. And we should, obviously, because the motives of her giving was love. Her giving was sacrificial. And there's no question that the emphasis for this particular parable is about stewardship. And at the same time, we shouldn't dismiss that it also deals with amount. Now, let me suggest to you that we go back and look at a couple of words here. It says he sat down opposite the treasury and began observing the people putting the money into the treasury. Many rich people were putting in large sums of money. So he did notice the amount, didn't he? Well, that got me thinking, and I started thinking about a scripture verse that I wasn't sure where it was. So I used one of my computer programs to find it. And it's over in Luke 12:48. It's the second part of the verse. From everyone who has been given much, much will be required. Now that deals with amount, doesn't it? For those that have been given much, much will be required. I wonder, as Jesus was watching those rich people putting in the large sums of money, whether he wasn't saying to himself, oh, but I bless them much more than that. That's not nearly as much as they should be willing to put in if they really love me. Now, I'm not saying that Jesus cares about amounts. We know from the widow's mite that he is much more concerned about our love and our sacrificial giving based on how much we love him. And he certainly is not only interested in money, he's interested in time and talent. It's easy for a person that's wealthy to put in money, but not give their time or their talent. So when we think about giving, I think it would be wise for us to say, am I giving based on the ability that I have to give? Or am I giving based on the amount that I have to give? Do I realize that Jesus cares not only about our ability and the sacrifice that we make, but also how we've been blessed and how we return that blessing to him? That's my thought for the day. I hope it's your thought for the day also.